Alright, so this is my thoughts on the various editions of Dungeons and Dragons. A little backstory, I've been playing D&D since the beginning, really. I remember the original books, the ones with the color covers, like um, Gods and or Gods and Deities or Deities and Demigods. Um, and the player's handbook. They were basically booklets. I remember that. I remember going to the store, making my mom drive me down way out to the only hobby store in Cincinnati to pick up the brand new player's handbook. And I, I remember the Monster Manual hadn't been out yet, and so we really didn't know what to do with the player's handbook, but we were so happy to have it. Um, but I've played all these editions. Certainly, the first edition was what started it all. Of course, now looking back on it, reading the book, you just can't go back. you know, I just can't see. I know right now I am playing a first edition game, and I have various mixed feelings about it. I'm playing in it. I'm not running it. I would never run a first edition game. Um, Second edition was really good, except for the fact of THAC0. I thought it really sucked. And of course, then they did this prolifera of books, which was the beginning of we're going to book you to death. Um, but it's really easy to see how second edition was where the idea of customizing your character came into being. When third edition came out, I was very happy. It still wasn't exactly what I wanted. I thought it didn't go far enough, but I was very happy with third edition. 3.5 came out. I really hated that they did it, but at the same time, it really clarified things from 3.0. Um, Again, I didn't really care so much for how little they gave you, especially like the settings. I really like Return to Castle Greyhawk, but I don't know. I just wanted more. I wanted to really explore the Castle Greyhawk. I wanted there to be a multi-layer. I would have bought a real thick book of Castle Greyhawk, but for what it was nice. Um, and then 4.0 came out. I bought the book, and for the first time, I mean, I was really not. Well, okay, I digress. Pathfinder came out. Bought Pathfinder. Really love Pathfinder, but that's the only edition of the game I have not played yet. I was in a group. We play 3.5 up to 16th level, and then we stopped playing. And that's exactly when Pathfinder came out. We didn't stop because Pathfinder, it was different things. But even though I haven't played Pathfinder, I think I know enough of 3.5 rules to get an idea of what it would be like. And I really like Pathfinder. It is a continuation of the D&D game. And we get to 4th edition. I bought the 4th edition book and read it. Wasn't really certain what I read. I reread it again, and I got very angry. I had problems with the rules, but that really wasn't it. The rules are going to be whatever the rules are, and you make what you want out of them. Some of them might be good, some might be better, but what really angered me about 4.0 was the lack of respect for the older players. Um, that game was basically made for younger players, and I guess that's not really it. That's not right. You should be able to make a game for all players. Um, it wouldn't have bothered me if they had just change all the rules. It really bothered me that they didn't have respect for the setting. If you look at all the other editions of Dungeons and Dragons, the one thing it always did was kept it kind of generic. You had elves. The elves from first edition were pretty much the elves of 3.5. There might have been a few minor tweaks here or there, but it was still basically the same. And each one of these editions kept them generic for a reason. Ed's D&D game is not the same as Ted's, and Ted's is not the same as Cheryl's. They all have different game settings. But by making a common denominator of elf, dwarf, you had a set. And if you had a player who came in that's brand new to your campaign, and he says, I want to play a psychic vampire, you say, oh no, I'm sorry, those aren't the established races, and we can move on. Or if you want to add a race, you could do that. But what they did in 4.0 was, they got rid of gnome. Big deal. No one played a gnome. But that's not even the point. The gnome was always there. It was there. A lot of times people use them as for NPCs, but then they put the Dragonborn in, which, boy, you talk about juvenile. I don't know. It just stuck under my craw. Another thing that really stuck under my craw was the alignment. If you're not going to use the D&D alignment system, don't use any of it at all. Just make up something different, or make up nothing at all. Don't have alignments. But no, instead what they had to do was they had to be big about it and say, oh, it's good or evil, or it's lawful good or chaotic evil, while forgetting whatever was between all that. They also were the settings. Nothing says fuck you, like, let's just change all the settings. We're going to put them 100 years later, or whatever stupid asinine crap they put out. Boy, you talk about telling someone to fuck you. That's exactly what Wizards of the Coast did. They left the people out that built this game up over the years. And now they're going to come out with a 5.0. And the way it keeps changing its description. At first, what came out was, oh, you'll be able to bring any edition of the game to the table and anybody can play. Well, no, that was a misquote or something. Now it's, you can choose any of the old editions, bring it to the table, and play the game. My question is, why do we even need a new edition of the game if we're just going to use our old editions? So obviously you're going to have the 5.0 game to play the 5.0 game, and that's what you're playing. I don't think, in my own personal opinion, I really forgive Wizards of the Coast yet. I think it's a hard lesson to learn. I haven't had a chance to play the Pathfinder game. What I have been doing is online at the Obsidian Portal, I have my Dark Greyhawk game where it's a play-by-post thing. And I only have one player, but you know what? He posts it almost every day. I really enjoy that game so far. But I really like the Castles and Crusades. It's old style gaming. It reminds me of the first edition, but it's 3.0 modified. They call it the Siege Engine. I would like to someday try out Pathfinder. And also I play White Wolf games, the New World and the Old World Darkness. I right now have um, I right now have a Cincinnati by Night game on the Obsidian Portal. That's the Old World Darkness Vampire Masquerade. And I have played in last, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, I played through a Vampire the Requiem game. I love the New World Darkness setting. I love the New World Darkness rules. And if I could, I would have a fantasy D&D game with New World Darkness rules. But, what I have so far right now, I like. So for me to play D&D, it has to be either Castles and Crusades, Pathfinder, or True 20. All of these are true to the original game because they leave them generic. They they give just enough flavor, but not enough flavor to change anything. And that is what you call respecting your audience. Something that Wizard of the Coast has forgotten to do.